Welcome back to another video. Nintendo announced their financial results, and I'm not really a big numbers or financial person. However, I do like it when companies who are traditional, who are doing things that most people in the social media driven gaming community would say are old or antiquated, those voices always are the ones that are wrong when it comes to games and systems within each generation. And the Switch is bucking all the trends. 130 million Switch consoles sold. You've got software sales that are absolutely through the roof. Nobody has software sales like this. You've got Tears of the Kingdom already almost at 19 million units sold. You've got Breath of the Wild crossing the 30 million mark. Mario Kart crossing the 50 million mark. But that's not all. There are a gaggle of games, both first party and third party, selling extremely well on the Switch. Why are these numbers important to me? Well, because it speaks to creativity within the console space. It speaks to the traditional way of creating just fun games. We don't have to necessarily, not that this isn't important, I understand it, I have a PlayStation 5 and a Series X, not that power isn't important or moving from one generation to the next and expecting graphical differences, even though we've forgotten that graphics aren't resolution and frame rate, folks. Expecting graphical differences, I understand that. But I love just the simplicity of a vision and executing on that and just releasing games that are incredibly fun. And most of the games that I purchased for the Switch first party wise blow me away graphically. I can't imagine how they are still squeezing power out of this system. Pikmin 4 is absolutely incredible. So as far as the numbers, I'm not sitting here saying na foo, they've sold 130 million and the Xbox hasn't sold. It's not that kind of comparison. What I'm saying is I love the idea behind hearing folks tell me that all of the old ways, buying a system, putting it under your television, buying a one-off copy of a game that's complete when you purchase it, that's the old way of doing things. You've got to have trophies, you've got to have achievements, you got to have online on a friends list, you got to be able to play it while you're on the toilet. None of that is correct when you look at these numbers. So, social media, video gamers versus the actual market, that's what I love. I love when all of that nonsense is refuted. Again, not that it's not important, but at the end of the day, what is important is what is rising to the top. What is important is what consumers are purchasing. What are they gravitating towards? And you can spend all day long telling me on social media why this is wrong, but what you can't do, what you cannot do, is negate the math. And consumers are choosing the old ways of doing things, and they're loving just having fun with video games. The next thing I want to talk about, of course, this is where we get into the power thing, if some of you love that, is the PlayStation 5. It is incredible what is I couldn't say the word incredible there. It is incredible what is happening with the PlayStation 5. They have recaptured. Did you like that? I did the YouTuber announcer's voice. The PlayStation 5 has recaptured the momentum of the PlayStation 2 generation. I don't know why people talk like that. However, the PlayStation 2 has recaptured the momentum of the PlayStation 2 generation, and people are absolutely going crazy to purchase this system. The most sold system. They are in a renaissance period with the PlayStation 5, and they haven't even really announced what's coming from their first party. Now, you see online, social media, Sony hasn't announced any games. Sony hasn't announced any games. They only got Spider-Man. Guys, I don't know if you've lived through a PlayStation 1, 2, 3, 4 generation, but PlayStation usually doesn't announce much from first party until the middle to the end of a generation. I know that stinks. I would rather have that quote-unquote roadmap that we're always hounding Xbox for, but I know, because I've purchased a PlayStation 1, 2, 3, and 4, I know what Sony does, and I know what to expect. So most people know that. They're going out, they're buying PlayStations. Why? Because they've got great games at launch, they've got a great game coming in Spider-Man 2, and they know that Sony's going to release great games within this generation. That is what Sony does, that is what PlayStation does, and people are responding to this in droves. Talk about the old ways of doing things. Spider-Man 2 limited edition console selling out. Spider-Man 2 attached to the system, using both to sell each other. The old ways of doing things are still being adopted, still being soaked up by gamers. And I like that. But I would be remiss if I didn't say to you that I firmly believe this. Microsoft and Xbox have a huge ace up their hole. Up their hole? And it is StarField. Yes, I believe that StarField could be one of the biggest games to release exclusively on a system this year. And I know what you're saying. Worry, Xbox they don't have exclusives. Everything goes to PC. They don't even care about the console anymore. And I would agree with you. As a Series X owner, I feel like they just don't care about me. However, I'm a console gamer. I've got a Series X. And I'm telling you, based on the past games from Bethesda, based on Fallout, based on Skyrim, I feel like this game will have much more. I mean, obviously, this game is going to have much more content than Spider-Man 2. It's going to have much more things for you to do, see, explore, feel, talk to, just everything that you can possibly imagine that you can do in a role-playing game, you can do. And just by definition, right, it's a role-playing game compared to an action-adventure game. So, of course, there's going to be more for you to do in this game. I'm not saying it's going to be better. I'm saying that if you want the biggest bang for your buck and you want an RPG and you want to have hundreds of hours in a game, obviously this is going to be one of those games. And I think that this could still be one of the biggest games this year. Microsoft and Xbox desperately needed this, and I just have a feeling. I don't know if it's based on anything tangible, but I really feel like this is it. This is the one they finally, and look, they didn't have anything to do with it. They just purchased it. I know what you're going to say again. They didn't build it. They didn't purchase it. It's not organic. I don't care at this point. I just want to play something really great on my Xbox. Now, would I have loved it if this was a Series X exclusive and they took advantage of the total power in this system? Of course I would, but guys, I don't think this looks bad at all. In fact, there are moments where I sit and I watch this and I feel like I'm just going to walk around on some of these planets. I'm just going to live here and explore and do absolutely nothing, just like I do in Spider-Man, the first game. Sometimes I just sit at the top of a building, jump off, and swing around the city for hours doing nothing. To me, that's the sign of a really good game. But I want to know what you think. Do you think StarField is going to be that game for Xbox, or do you think that Nintendo and the Switch and PlayStation 5 are just going to continue to dominate the industry? Thanks for watching. Think about liking and subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video.